Hey guys, it's me, Wilson, and we're back for another video on F1 22. And we're here for France in PSGL, round 8, I believe it is. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So heading into France, it was, yeah, definitely an interesting track. I really enjoyed this track on past games. I can't really remember 21 too much. I remember 2020, it was really nice. It was such a good track to drive, especially in the last sector. To be honest, I think everyone I spoke to enjoyed this track a lot more in the old games. Yeah, it was just not fun in this game. And I think a reason for that is just, yeah, the cars are heavy. The cars don't really, they're not as agile as they were, even though the 2020 cars were still heavy compared to old cars. They were just dump trucks now, to be honest, and they've not got much front end. This chicane's really bad. You're either 0 or 100. You either get it right or you get it wrong. There's not much in between. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race. Going into it, I was not feeling confident at all. I was about a tenth off where I really want to be. Yeah, it wasn't ideal. So it was a weird one. I've never really went into a race feeling this slow in a while. I felt quite good recently, so it was definitely a different mindset heading into this. So yeah, I think the goal for today, I was just kind of hoping we could get Q3, to be honest. And maybe I was quicker than I thought. I wasn't sure, but the people I practiced with, I didn't feel exactly exhilarating on pace. But yeah, definitely a very difficult track all round. Looks simple, very easy to extend track limits, especially at this turn 1. You can cut it nicely, but it's not really how much you cut it, it's more of how much speed you carry through it. If you miss it and carry a lot of speed, you're completely fine. But yeah, we completed our first Q1 run, and that put us P6. And for some reason, I went out again, which I don't really understand why. I think my time at the moment was a 0.6. So yeah, we went out again. I think I was P7 at the time, but then Fabrizio disqualified himself because he had a quali ban, which I wasn't aware of. Then Danny Moreno lagged out, so that was 2 people. So that was already 2 people who couldn't beat us, and then it's bound to be another 3 people who make mistakes. So yeah, really don't think I really needed to go out, but we'll see. We're coming through the last sector now. You can see we're matching our first Q1 run, but the last sector is where we lost most of the time. We made a big mistake here last run, and we still make a mistake there, so we lost about half a tenth there. But again, it's such tight margins in this league that a 300th improvement is probably going to keep you safe, as we got a tiny bit deep into the last corner, but we compromised the exit with that, and it's only a 300th improvement, which, to be honest, really wasn't needed. And as you can see, 300s puts us P3. Which is a 5-6, and you can't see it because of my face, but we would have been through. So that's always lovely. But now, coming to the end of our used tyre run in Q2, it's going to be a 30.1 as we go P3, but these tyre runs don't really matter that much. Now on our first new set in Q2, you can see going through the chicane now, we make a big mistake there. You want to get it a little bit more over to the right there. And you can see me shaking my head there. It was just not good enough. It's a 6-1 split. Ideally, I'd like to be in the mid-5 splits, roughly. But yeah, let's see what we can do in the last sector. I'm not rapid in this last sector. I remember, as I was saying in old games, I was really quick in this last sector. But yeah, just struggled here in practice as we go through this left-hander. When you get this right, you can gain a lot of time. As you have a little bit of a slide there, half a second up on that 30.1. Now going through this long left-hander, 4th gear, then getting it tight all over that curb, keeping it in 4th gear, trying to get the front end in, and then we're about 7/10ths up, coming up to the line now. What's it going to be? And it's a 0.41, which again I was just not happy with. Very poor lap time from me there. And yeah, we head into the pits, and we're still P6, so after the first Q1 runs, we are P6. From what I remember, we made a big mistake in the middle sector. So a lot of time there, and a bit of time in the last. So Heading out again, we have to improve. This is probably one of the toughest moments you can get as a driver, when you know you have to improve, when you're going out and you know you can't make a mistake. You've got to be in the limit, but you also cannot invalidate. And yeah, this is where you prove yourself. So, starting our second Q2 run, you can see it's getting a little bit overcast. Rain could be on its way, but you can see through turn 1, 400s down. At this point, I was wondering if the weather was affecting the track, because it didn't feel bad, but I was just going slower. So let's see what we can do through the first sector. Keeping it in 4th gear through this right-hander. Rear end gets a little bit loose there, and it's only a 0-2 split. That's not ideal. For reference, really we want to be doing mid to high 9 in Q1 or Q2 at least. As we open DRS now, going towards the chicane. Again, we know there's lots of time in the chicane. I know this myself. I'm reminding this to myself going into the chicane as we brake just before the curb starts. Taking a lot of inside curb, then turning it in. And we do that really bad. We take too much curb. We hit the yellow sausage curbs. And at this point, I'm thinking we have to nail this last sector. We're a slower split than our first Q2 run. So let's see what we can do. Going through this right-hander, we know we have a lot of time in this corner. I remember telling myself we have a lot of time here, so we're going to try and keep it a little bit tighter than we did last time. And you can see we've already gained about 100, but that's not enough. We're going to go through this long left-hander. We're going to really have to nail this one, trying to get the power down as quickly as we can. We're 400s up now. That's probably going to be enough time that will see us through to Q3, hopefully, as we go through this long left now, keeping it in 4th, trying to get the front end bit in a little bit more than we did last time, and that's half a 10th up, and hopefully that's going to be enough of an improvement to see us through into Q3. We cross the line, and we actually do not move position, which worried me a little bit at the beginning, but as you can see, we're trying to see who is going to beat us. Is Jarno going to beat us? Is Danny Berezny going to beat us? We're easily through it, even if Jarno does beat us. Jarno does not improve ours. I think he might have improved, but it wouldn't have been enough. And that sees us safely through to Q3. So, that's nice. Only been knocked out once so far this season in Saudi, which was, yeah, me being an idiot, and I think I've never been that slow in my life. But yeah, safely through. Kind of annoying, as there's Q1 we could have easily saved a set of tyres, and yeah, that was just a messy few runs from us. If you're wondering, BB7 is Barry Burmand, just if you're curious. I had a lot of people asking me who that was, but yeah, let's see what we can do in Q3, and as you can see, we load up. Yeah, the inters are about weak. Maybe I should just go out in inters. I'm going out in inters.
Yeah, you want to get out when it's as dry as possible.
Yeah, let's fucking go. Let's see what we can do. And as you can see, everyone else went out on softs at this point in qualifying, and it was raining, and I thought to myself, we need to go out on inters as quickly as we can, as softs are just not going to work. So yeah, this will be interesting. Hopefully we can pull off a lap, as if we just complete a lap at this point, to be honest with you, it pretty much will be pole position, as we lit, I believe, Thomas by, one of the Haas's at least, who are on slick compound tyres. You can see starting our first intermediate tyre run now. Let's go down to turn 1. We've got a little bit deep, but again, we've not done any intermediate running, so this is all new to us now. This is a lot of just new grip completely to us, as we go through this downhill right-hander, taking a lot of curb there. And it's not been too bad, considering we haven't drove the inters at all yet, and it's a 0.4 split, which I couldn't tell you how good or bad that is. And then this long left is very difficult in the wet, much easier in the dry, and now coming up to the chicane. In these laps you kind of just want to take it easy, brake a little bit earlier than you're used to, rather brake early than brake late and go deep. That's usually the way I think of it, as we take this fairly nicely. So it's been a decent lap so far for our first lap on inters. It could have been much worse, that's for sure. 0.4 split again, I cannot tell you if that's good or bad. Now go through this long right-hander, we keep it in 8th gear, and we actually go off track and invalidate our lap, which is crucially very annoying. And then we back out very quickly. We're now on our second run on that set, going through this long left and this long, and we invalidate again. So yeah, that's me pretty much through pole away. Very, very silly from me. I can't remember the last time I made such a big mistake such as that. And now we're starting pretty much our final qualifying lap, and as you can see, we're going through these corners. We're already 3/10 down out of turn 1, and yeah, the track's just got slow. I didn't realise at the time. For some reason, my brain didn't compute the track was getting much quicker. Yeah, I don't really know why. I just didn't compute it, and I took too much risk at that long right, pretty much. And yeah, all I really needed was to lift off a bit more. We might have lost a 10th, but we probably would have been top 2, probably pole, to be honest with you. And yeah, that's just silly mistake for me. I don't really make mistakes like this much often. Obviously, you get the odd mistake in qualifying where you get knocked out in Q2 or whatever. But that's a little bit different to what this is. This is more of a mistake where it's like, you know, you just need to be off the limit. You can see the way we done it, that corner there was so much tidier and so much easier. And yeah, definitely something I can learn from. As you say, you learn a lot more from losing than you do from winning. And I'd much rather this happen now than in a much more important time in league racing. Not many people are too bothered about league racing right now. So yeah, it's what it is. At the time, I was angry, but I wasn't as angry as I thought I'd be. But you can see we're 3.5 seconds up now. That is all because we backed out of our previous lap time. And yeah, you can see, I think at this point, to be honest, it's pretty much full wet conditions. And we crossed the line, and it's only P8. And we finished P9. You can see pole was 38.2 by Otis. And I remember comparing sectors, as you can see here. Our first lap was yeah, I mean, you can compare it yourself, but we were pretty much on the money for pole. So yeah, I can only blame myself. It is what it is, though. You learn a lot more from losing than you do winning, as I said. But now, full focus is onto the race. We're starting in a really difficult position. And at this point, I was just thinking, let's just have some fun. Let's enjoy this race. We're at a point in the season, a point in the game, where I think we just need to enjoy the races we do as much as we can. It's going to get very stressful, and a lot of pressure will be mounting on us in the new game. So let's just have some fun. Let's see what we can do. We've got Jack West in front of us. I think that's Alvaro Carreton just in front of us as well there in the Williams.
Yep, good luck, Wilson.
Ismail Fassi behind us and Beresny in P11. So let's see what we can do. We've got 5 red lights. And away we go for the France Grand Prix, and we get a really good run on Jack West. A really good start there. We're often getting fairly good starts compared to the cars around us. As we go into turn 1, they're 3 wide, and Alvaro Carreton has been spun round. We go through the inside very nicely, placing our car through there. We're up to P7. That's 2 positions gained past turn 1 and 2. We might be able to get one more off of these cars. They're fighting very hard in front of us. That's Luke Smith, Dilmorn, and Thomas RONHAAR. As Dilmorn is sending Thomas RONHAAR through that corner as we get pushed off a little bit, then have a big snap of oversteer. Ismail Fassi on our inside. Now Thomas RONHAAR off the track. We push Ismail Fassi a little bit wide there, and now it's going to be blasting the battery. We've got cars all over us. We're still using the battery. Luke Smith ahead of us. We're diving to the left, trying to defend more than attacking, to be honest with you, as we go through this left-hander, through this tricky chicane. Can we maybe possibly get a run on the cars ahead? We are going to use our overtake. Are we going to think better of it and I actually turn it off here? Because at this point in the race, I was thinking these two are going to destroy the rear S. You can just tell they're using it so much. And yeah, I think I'd rather much save it for later on when they've both burnt out their tyres a little bit more than us and we've got more ERS. Then it'll be so much easier to pounce on these cars. As Luke Smith, you can see they're fighting so aggressively with each other. This is helping us a lot. They're using so much ERS, using a bit of tyres as well. And this is really good for us. This should be a sign that it's going to come to us at the end of the race as we get slightly sent in the inside. We left a little bit of space just so we didn't get tapped. And now, moving on to lap 11, nothing really happened. We tried to save a bit of battery. There was points in the race where I was using a lot and then coming off it for a few laps, then using a lot, just to try and pressure Thomas to make a move, really. And as you can see, he finally got the motto and really went for the move on Thomas. You can, or Luke, really going for it here as they go through the chicane. Is Luke Smith going to be able to get the switch back? And it doesn't look like he is. We're just waiting, to be honest, on hearing that they've not got a lot of ERS. and I think my engineer pretty much was Will Lewis, who retired at this point, and I think he was engineering me by this lap, and he was telling me that the ERS on Luke Smith was really low. I think he had like 20%, and if you look at our battery, that's nothing. If we use everything and he uses everything, we're easily going to be able to get by him. So now the goal is just making sure we're as close as possible to Luke Smith. We need to be at least 3/10 back, really, to make sure we can get this move done nice and easily. So now we're going to press the overtake button. He's going to defend. We're going to sit in his slipstream right behind him, going into this chicane. We're waiting for his red light to flash. There it goes. So we turn off our ERS, knowing we might be able to get a better run onto straight. He goes very deep, so we try and set up the exit as nicely as we can, and we do that very well. Now we're going to get back on the ERS, and as you can see, he's flashing again. He's going to be so slow in a straight line, and you can see we glide by him with these. We've used about 35 to 40% ERS, but that's a position gained, and now we're straight back into management mode. We need to gain back as much ERS as we can. I remember going for that move and thinking, this could be a bit risky as we're getting very close to the pit stops, and everyone knows by the time the pit stops come, you want to have a lot of ERS so you can just blast it on your in lap or out lap or whatever you're doing, overcut, undercut. So at this point, I was a little bit worried. We do need to urgently save ERS, get that back up to as high as we really can. I wasn't really sure what the regen was here, but I can't imagine it's massively high compared to other tracks. But we move on to lap 15, and you can see ERS is still not ideal for us, so it's not looking ideal, but we'll see what we can do. I'm pretty sure at this point a few cars already pit. There was Pookie, I believe, who was a few cars behind us. He pit, and yeah, we were pretty much covering him, so I believe we're going to pit this lap, and yep, we do. Thomas RONHAAR comes in with us, and we're going to be putting on a medium compound of tyre. Jake Benham goes long, I think Otis goes long as well, and Barry goes long. So they're all going to have 1 lap fresher tyres than us. It's just going to make it a little bit difficult then, but we need to cover Pookie. If we go 1 lap longer and get stuck behind him, it's not really easy to pass around this track, to be honest, unless you've got a significant pace advantage. So coming out of the pits now, tyres are going to be extremely cold. You can see Delmore, he pit early, he undercuts us, or he was already ahead of us, so that's not too much of a worry. And you can see Isfan Pookie, he's right behind us, about 8/10. He's only going to gain on us as we're on very cold tyres, but if we stayed out 1 lap longer, he would have 100% got us. Those fresh mediums are so much quicker on this lap. Apart from the first sector here, when they're really cold, they're just extremely sketchy. But right now, we're just trying to make sure we can stay in Thomas's DRS. And do we do it? Yes, we do. So, end of lap 16, starting 17, you can see Barry Burman actually comes out behind us, and I can confirm that he had a screen freeze. He was leading, he was ahead of Otis by a decent amount, I think. And yeah, he had a screen freeze which put him behind us. So that's really unlucky from him. Again, lap 18 now, Jake pits. He's the last to pit out of them all, so he's going to have, what, 3 lap fresher tyres? No, 2 lap. So that's quite a big difference around here, but you can see he's going to have cold tyres here, and that's going to make Barry very desperate. So let's see what happens behind us. It could end in chaos. I'm constantly looking at that delta in the top left, hoping they fall out of DRS, going through this long right-hander, and they actually do fall out of DRS, and that is music to my eyes, music to my ears, if you could say. And yeah, 1.6 back, and they're already still fighting. You can see Pookie is still fighting. Jake, I imagine, doesn't have DRS. This is just great for us. We're able to sit in DRS, save ERS, save tyres, and just cruise round while the cars behind us fight. And yeah, I guess that's what you get for going long. Going long's really good at the end of the race, but you risk a lot fighting in that pack. So happy I went for a fairly decent-ish undercut. But yeah, lap 19 now, and they're about 2.3 back. We move on to 25 though, and Barry Burman does catch that gap. He was depleting his ERS the whole time pretty much to catch, and Barry is obviously not a slow driver, so doesn't surprise me that he caught us. But we've been trying to save a decent amount of ERS. We've been using here and there. We did use a little bit now and then to keep Barry out of the DRS a little bit longer than we would want to. Just to make it a bit more tough for him. But now, lap 26. Let's see what we can do. We've got Dylan Warren ahead of us and Thomas RONHAAR just ahead of us as Thomas goes off the track. But yeah, Dylan Warren is flashing, so I was hoping I could maybe make a move this lap, but let's see what happens. I know Dylan is going to go for it here. You can see how close they're getting. You can see he's pulling away from us. He's going to dart to the left-hand side. They're going to get very aggressive into this chicane, and at this point, I thought we're going to have to make our move now. We've got a lot of ERS. He's just been pushed off. He is flashing. Thomas RONHAAR does have about the same ERS as us, but we've got Slipstream. He's got a bad exit. He's starting to flash. We've still got more ERS in the cars. Is going to side by side through this long right-hander, 3 wide through that corner. Thomas RONHAAR is still on our outside through this long right-hander. I'm trying to defend the inside as well as going side by side with Thomas. Now through this left, I didn't really expect him to go for the move down the inside, but he does. He leaves just enough space onto the curb. We're still not using ERS. We want to save it for this last lap, this last DRS strike. We want to be able to defend ourselves with something. Now going through this right-hander, you can see a red arrow pops into our screen, and that's Dylan Warren sending Thomas RONHAAR off into the track. We start to use our ERS because these two are going to be blasting it. They're really going to be going for the moves here. Let's just hope they do not spear us off the track into turn 1. As we go through turn 1, you can see they're still side by side. These two are definitely not friends, that's for sure, and they're still in striking distance, so we need to be careful on what can happen here as we go through this right-hander sector 1. They're 7 tenths back, and to be honest, 8 tenths back, 1.1, and that is job done. You might hear Will Lewis say that's job done, and yeah.
I fucking love that, man. 1.4 back.
Yeah, no way they catch now.
Yeah, so that's pretty much job done, to be honest. 1.5. I mean, we're gonna have to make a fat mistake to bottle that. But yeah, P9 to P2, not a bad race. Thomas and Dylan definitely helped our cause there, and yeah, it's just a shame we bottled pole. We really could have had a chance of the win. You can see Otis, he's 3 seconds up the road, fairly assisted by Thomas and Dylan's battling. He's going to win the race. I think it's his first ever win on PC, I think. But yeah, P2 for us. You can see the gap still growing behind us as they swarm about, and yeah, good race from us. P9 to P2. Nice to be back on the podium after quite a few runs of unfortunate mishaps and things that just haven't went our way. As we come up to the line, you can see we're laughing. Our pace was not good at all this weekend. We're going to cross the line. It's P2 for us in the French Grand Prix, and that is a result I'm not disappointed with. A little bit angry about qualifying as we could have been fighting for that win there. But again, P9 to P2, can you complain? We showed really good racecraft in that race. We used our brain very nicely. A few nice overtakes as well in that race, especially that 3 wide moment on lap 26. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed the race quite a lot. It was nice to actually fight people rather than sitting in a train and, you know, doing nothing. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Again, hope you enjoyed it. Comment if you have any questions about anything. I'll try and get back to you. And if you want to see any of my other socials, I stream these races on Twitch Wednesday 7 PM. I also stream every now and then practice 5 lappers, messing about. Check out my Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, that's all from me. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one.